All right. Italy elected an openly fascist woman as the new prime minister. First female prime minister ever. But the only thing anybody in the mainstream can talk about is how she's a fascist. Well, that's a lot of fun. And I'm going to pull it up once I get into this. There's an article from Salon, of course, from fucking Salon, that the more I read through it, I read the whole thing once, and I was kind of slowly reading through it again to kind of wrap my head around the implications of what the Salon author is talking about here. But man, the more I read through it, it's like, sounds like fascism is pretty good. If that's fascism, I kind of like it. So anyway, but I wanted to tackle a couple things that I've seen about Meloni, just like head on. I don't intend for this to be very long. I just wanted to tackle a couple things that I've seen about her that give people pause. Not necessarily. I mean, I've been tracking what's going on in Europe for a couple years now, maybe longer than that. And something that you're seeing is these populist nationalistic movements that have really stemmed from the European Union really messing stuff up as far as like just the whole of each individual European nation. And so what you're starting to find is that people actually do care about where they live. And you're seeing this like rampant mass immigration really kind of fucking stuff up, especially from a cultural standpoint. And culture is important. If you think culture is not important, I'm not sure your brain is functional. Like, culture is infinitely important. Historically, it always has been. So you have to take it from that. Like, you have to put value on culture. And these globalists in the EU and NATO and whoever's pulling this Joe Biden puppet strings, like they don't care about that stuff. And so what you're seeing is the populations themselves, they really do care about that stuff. And so now you're having these uprisings of these like far right, populist, nationalistic, whatever parties that are rising up and coming into not just into prominence, but also into power. And it's happening across the whole of Europe. So it's an interesting thing to watch kind of unfold. But one of the things that's been brought up is Meloni has said some things that have given people pause. So I'm just gonna straight up pull up a little video, and we'll kind of watch that, and then we'll take it from there.
All right, guys. Pretty sure Giorgia Meloni tricked us. We all fell for it, myself included. We posted that video of her speech. Loved every second of the speech. What she said, I thought it was awesome. But yeah, if you look in this lady's past, she's not who we think she is. Look at this.
Penso ad esempio al tema del certificato verde digitale. Siamo stati i primi a sostenerlo, ci auguriamo che venga adottato il prima possibile in un orizzonte di totale reciprocità con tutti gli altri stati europei. È una priorità ed è fondamentale per ripristinare la libertà di circolazione e far ripartire soprattutto il turismo.
Not only did she push a green certificate, but someone informed me that if you look her up on Wikipedia, you will be able to see that she's also a member of the Aspen Institute. If you look up some of the donors to the Aspen Institute, you'll be able to see Billy and Melinda Gates Foundation sponsored it. Not just Bill Gates, though, but also the Rockefeller Foundation is funding the Aspen Group, which this lady is a part of. So she's really against the establishment. Why is she part of this group that those key players are part of? With all that being said, I'm going to keep the speech up that I posted previously, but at the same time, you got to just keep in your head that just because someone says great things doesn't mean that they're necessarily on your team. And when you are teaming up with people like Bill Gates, Rockefeller, pushing green certificates, I think everyone should ask questions on that and just never fall in love blindly with any politician.
There are also some pictures of her signing some stuff with some Israeli jerk-offs and stuff like that. So where I kind of wanted to go with this, and I posted this the other day to Twitter and to Facebook, and I said the very first thing you have to understand and fully wrap your head around is that the game is rigged. And once you've come to terms with that, you have to build everything you do from that point forward around that framing. So this guy in the Instagram video, I literally have no idea who the dude is. Like, this is, I was sent the video. This is the first time I've ever seen or heard from this guy. So maybe he's really in touch with all things European politics of the last decade. But for Giorgia Meloni, if you go back, she joined the fascist party. She joined the party that she's currently a part of, or the current iteration of what it was at its founding. She joined when she was 15 years old. 15 years old. 1992, 93. In like the mid 90s, in like 94, 95. She was out canvassing and handing out pamphlets and flyers. She was giving speeches. She there was a like a whole news segment was run just focusing on her when she was like 19 years old or something. I've gone back and looked at stuff from her, like from the 90s and early 2000s, and she seems like a very, very deeply entrenched ideologue where the ideas of nationalism and the Mussolini, and she has been like very openly a fan of Mussolini. She has explained ad nauseum why the extreme progressive push throughout all of Europe, and specifically throughout Italy, has been a bad thing for their culture and for their society. So when I look at where she came from in the early to mid 90s, when she was in her teens and 20s, and the things that she's been saying and doing over the time, and as she's also been gradually coming into more of a leadership role within her party, and the things that she's been doing in Italy to promote that party and to help it to grow and to get to the point that it's at. And then I look at, as this guy says, like her history. Her history is that he's referring to is the last like 4 years, basically. And the framing of, you have to wrap your head around the idea that the game is rigged. If I could go back to like 15, 16-year-old me, knowing that the game is rigged, I would join the Democrats. And I would say the right things, and I would do the right things, and I would get all their money, and I would get all of their bullshit, and I would use that to further myself to do the things that I believe in. So if you look at where she came from at 15, 16, 17, her beliefs, her ideas, her ideals, the things that she has been very active about for literally 25 years. And then you look at what she's done over the last 4 or 5 years. He brings up the Aspen Group. To everything I can tell, she hasn't actually done anything with the Aspen Group. Like it's like a group membership. It's not something that she's like an active participant in. You have to understand that this is a game. And like John is saying, like, run as a Democrat and do whatever the fuck you want after that. Because once you're in, especially if you establish yourself in like where I'm from would have been at the ideal place to do it, because like Southwest Kentucky is very much one of those like yellow dog Democrat type parts of the world where everybody voted for a Democrat for literally forever, and they continue to vote for Democrats for no more reason than because your granddad would roll over in his grave if he knew that you were a Republican. That's co-opt their institutions and gain their power. Like, that's the game that we are playing, and that's the problem that I have with the libertarian ideals or ideas around politics. Is like, you can't expect to play fair and win. Like, you can't get mad because you're not being allowed on the debate stage. You can't get mad because you don't get the funding. You can't get mad because you have to fight for ballot access. That's the fucking game you're playing. And if you're going to win, you have to learn how to subvert the game in your favor. You have to learn how to take the foundation and the framework of this game and twist that fucking thing where that it benefits you. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. And in politics, if you ain't cheating, you ain't winning. And subversion of any form is the way you win. You can't go in and just brazenly say, I'm going to flip the whole fucking thing on its head, and I'm going to throw everybody out, and I'm going to put an end to all of this shit. You know what that gets you? That gets you black bagged and dumped somewhere. That guarantees that they will mobilize their full force against you. You know what you do? You shake hands with some Israelis. You have a meaningless membership of the Aspen group. You say some dumb platitudey bullshit about green cards or green passes or whatever. It's really easy to just put on a false face and, I don't know, give yourself the opportunity to win. Diplomacy, everybody hates office politics and stuff like that within like the workplace. Me above all, like the shit's terrible. I hate it. I'm also really good at it because you say things and you do things and you smile and you shake hands and you play nice because that's how you win the fucking game. If you want to be a dipshit and a dickhead and just shoot yourself in the foot and then run around and scream, it's their fault, they won't let me play, you're a fucking retard. Learn what politics is. Understand the game that is being played and then go play it. And don't just play it like half-assedly. Be fucking ruthless. Play to fucking win. I apologize. I've said fuck a lot. I don't necessarily mean to, but I'm also going off of like 3 hours of sleep. So as Trey says, this is why I said we have our true self and the many masks we wear. At her very core, her true self, Giorgia Meloni absolutely believes everything that we heard in that speech. She has been actively and aggressively fighting for that since she was 15 years old. There was a video clip that I can't play it because YouTube takes it down. It's apparently there's a copyright for it with the Italian news channel that ran the clip. So we ran it on the morning show the other day, and I got dinged. So I'm not gonna run the clip, but towards the end, she talks about. I mean, at the time of the video, she's 17, I think, 17 or 18. At the end of the video, she talks about all the activism that she's out doing and the things that they're doing and trying to help their candidate get elected. And she says, we may not win this one, but we're going to win eventually. Like we are building the foundation to put ourselves in position to win down the road. She understood the game at 15, 16, 17 years old. She understood the game as a teenager in ways that most of libertarianism doesn't understand the game to fucking day. This is how you win. This is how you win. And who knows? Maybe I'll be wrong. Maybe 4 years from now, it'll turn out that she is 100% a WEF puppet and nothing good comes of this. I would be willing to bet money that that is not going to be the case. And I highly, highly recommend going and looking up this article here. Sorry, I was reading. It's from Salon. Just type in yes in your search bar. Just type in yes. Italy's new prime minister really is a fascist, and it'll take you straight to the article. It's a great read if you want to see what Salon and the left truly think is the solution to all of the world's problems. A little hint: it's socialism. They even outrightly admit that socialism has never worked. So that was a fun line. But yeah, go check out the article. It's really good. It's got it kind of goes into some of her background as well, and the party that she's a part of, and what they're trying to do in Italy, and like what they're moving toward. It's really good stuff. I mean, anybody on the like an extremely progressive person who reads that is going to be outraged, and then somebody like me who reads this is going to be like, yeah, I like a lot of this. This is good. As Trey says, politics is like playing pickup basketball. You play as cheap as you can to win, and then play the game the honest way after. Politics is not for the faint of heart. It's not for people who don't lie well. It's not for people who can't stomach a lot of bullshit. It's the office politics stuff. It's the like everything politics is. It's not pretty, but you have to understand, if you want to win, there's a way the game is being played, and there's a way you may idealistically wish it was being played. You can wish in one hand and shit in the other and see which one fills up first. Like the way that you wish it would be played, you may as well throw that idea out, because it'll never happen. I would argue it's why people have moved in the post-libertarian direction and more praxeology, because when you look at the ideas and the ideals and the principles of libertarianism, they're great, right? Like it's the right stuff. But you're never going to win that way. And saying that it's not fair isn't going to get you any closer to winning. So go join the Republican Party and take it over on your local level, and then in your district, and then in your region, and then in your state. Go join the local Democrats and shake hands and say all the right things and get them to give you all their money, because they're the ones who got the money. And then use that money to run a brilliant campaign and get yourself elected, and turn around and flip on your head and start doing all the things that they don't want. If you are not actively finding a way to participate in the system so that you can wreck it from within, because I'm not going to say fix it from within. There is no fixing it. So you have to wreck it from within. Get in there, do what you got to do, shake some hands, say some dumb shit, join a council. Get yourself in a position to actually have real power so that you can have real influence. Otherwise, you're just a line I had used in a previous episode, pissing in the wind and commenting on how nice the rain is. fucking useless. This is the way to do it. Like I said, if you find something that seems to indicate that she's like legit WEF plant, okay, I'll look at it. And I'm willing to accept that I may be wrong, but some platitudey bullshit over the last 4 years versus what I've seen out of her from the early to mid 90s, I'm gonna bank on that. Not this dumb shit that's been going on. I just view that as playing the game. Hope everybody had a great day. Hope you have a great rest of your day, great rest of your week. Don't forget that I will be back on Sunday afternoon at 2 Central with the great Pete Quinones. We are going to talk about Nazi book burnings and both the historical significance of it and the present day relevance of it. And then I'll follow that up on Monday with my good buddy Mark Metz, and we're going to talk about why Nazism became popular. And we're probably going to talk some Mussolini as well. So I'm going like full on fascist for the next week or so. Hope you're ready to come along for a wild ride. It's going to be a lot of fun. We're going to learn a lot because this is going to be very historically based. We are going to look at the history of all of this stuff, and then we're going to look at what's happening today. Because for those who weren't aware, history may not repeat itself, but it definitely rhymes. Have a good one, everybody.